What's happening?
Hey, good morning.
So we have a guest this morning, Harry, but it's hot. You know how hot it is, Harry?
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot, Harry. I think my shoes were melting. Although I went to a beach party yesterday. I went to a pool party yesterday evening.
To a pool party?
Went to a pool party, Harry. It was fun! Although I didn't bring my swimsuit, which I'm bummed about. Next time, though, I'll bring my swimsuit. Because, you know, my pod of friends, was our COVID pod.
Wait, so you had a virtual pool party?
No. We went to a real party with a real pool. With all of us in the water, except me. I wasn't in the water.
How many people?
8 of us. 8.
Oh, okay, so you were under 10 people and you social distance?
Yes. Under 10 people, social distance. No, seriously.
Wow.
And good ass vegan cake, Harry.
That's good. Have you been tested yet, Babz?
Yes, I got tested early on, Harry. But I get tested because you know I'm part of a because you know I have a what do they call it? A firewall immune system. So I've got tested to see if what I have can be helpful to anybody else. My immune system. So far, it isn't. So far, it's just helpful to me. But they're working on it, so they're trying to figure out why am I not sick, and what is it about me that doesn't make me sick? Well, we know it doesn't make me sick. As long as I don't have milk proteins that breaks the firewall, that's my kryptonite. Milk proteins is my kryptonite. Once I get milk proteins, Harry, all manner of evil happens.
And it's any protein.
Milk, just milk protein. Has to be milk protein. Cow's milk, goat's milk.
Oh. So all you could do is have those soy milks and stuff like that.
I can have all the soy, nut, cashew, roach milk.
Ugh.
Did you see? Did I tag you in the roach milk, Harry? They're
Wait, wait.
making
So
roach.
you could milk a roach?
Well, I don't know how they do it, Harry. I don't know how to get those little machines on those nipples.
Wait, so their legs are really nipples and they're
I don't know, Harry. I
running
didn't.
around there?
I stepped out of the room for that part of the presentation. You know, people get offended when you start gagging.
Well, I mean, it is good protein. At least that's what.
Harry, roach has been around since dinosaur age, so we can learn a lot from roaches.
Yeah, roaches and rats. They're
I
gonna
don't know if I want to eat them though. I don't know the apocalypse, Harry. Could you do it if it meant survival?
well, there'll be no choice, right? So
Harry, there's always a choice.
I guess the choice would be roaches or become a cannibal. I mean,
Ew. Well, you
I,
know, Harry, I a couple of summers ago, the squad we all went to a tequila tasting, a mezcal tasting, and they had grasshoppers. You know how you have sunflower seeds, grasshoppers, and I ate them. They were crunchy.
yeah, I long ago. I mean, when I was a teenager, I had some chocolate covered ants.
Okay.
Um, they literally they weren't bad at all. They kind of tasted nutty.
No.
Um,
Yeah, but
and
do you draw the line at roaches though?
well, I didn't know I was eating ants.
Oh,
They told me after I ate the ants. The same thing when I
okay.
ate frog legs. They told me, "Oh, it's boneless chicken."
Yeah.
And then after I ate it, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of rubbery." And oh yeah, it's frog.
No, I can't eat that mess, Harry. I can't.
You have you ever eaten a reptile, Babz?
I've had frog legs.
Yeah, frog legs, right? How for me they were kind of rubbery.
I can't. It's like I'm one of these people, Harry. I can't even eat cake that's made out of something. Like I can't make a cake. I can't eat a cake in the shape of like animals. Do you know what I mean? Like people who make cakes that are like snakes and dogs. Like I can't even eat cake. Like honest to God, bona fide just cake. So I know I can't eat real. If you tell me what it is, I can't do it. Like
Yeah.
alligator, and I can't
Well,
octopus. I can't
you
eat any of
start
that.
feeling sorry for the animal.
No, I start feeling sick that I'm eating it.
I mean, I've eaten egg. I mean, chicken that I actually, saw my grandfather raise and stuff like that. So that didn't bother me. I didn't know until after I ate it. Oh, you know what you're eating? The chickens. I'm like,
I
oh,
don't know.
really? They taste good. I don't feel sorry for animals. They were put here for a reason.
Not to eat, Harry.
Of course, chickens,
Why? Why chickens, Harry? Why chickens got to be singled out?
because they're delicious.
Harry, I don't eat meat anymore. I don't eat animals anymore. So I just feel like I can't eat them anymore. I just can't.
I'll stop eating meat if they stop calling chickens meat.
What do you mean?
Like, I'll stop eating all the other animals if they stop saying that chicken is meat. So I'll eat chicken alone and I'll eliminate the other animals. But let's call chicken a vegetable.
Harry, that was a long way to go.
Because chicken.
Poquito, poquito.
Yeah, chicken is hard to give up.
It's not hard to give up, Harry.
Yeah, chicken is
You
hard.
can't eat anything that looks back at you that has a brain and a heart.
Do chickens have a brain? No, I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
they have a brain, Harry.
not much thought going through there. I don't know. Then we'd be overrun with chickens.
No, we wouldn't breed them for our food supply.
What do you mean breed chickens? Chickens just,
No, we breed chickens for the food. We don't naturally let chickens
but
be
they,
how they are.
what would we do? We would eliminate, we would just have no roosters, no, what would we do? Of course, we'd be overrun with chickens and
Harry, we would
pigs.
not be overrun. It would be a natural. We would allow them to live naturally. We breed them. We have chicken farms, Harry. You know that breed them.
Yeah, but if we didn't have those farms, the chickens would be in the street.
No,
Have
they
you
wouldn't. They would not have these numbers. They wouldn't be forced to breed. We wouldn't be forcing them.
have you ever driven through Puerto Rico?
Yes,
If you drive through Puerto Rico, you have to actually stop to let the chickens cross the road. Why do
yes,
the chicken cross the road?
to get to the other side.
Exactly. Because they live in Puerto Rico. So people they just leave their chickens go out free and they're everywhere. You'd be overrun by chickens if people weren't eating them.
Why can't chicken lives matter too, Harry?
My God. No, they don't. Well, they do because they are delicious. They matter, especially chicken, healthy chicken matters, right?
Well, what do you mean healthy chickens?
Chickens that aren't pumped up with steroids and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. If we left them alone and we didn't hyperbreed them and make them slaves to our dietary selections.
Of course, when you think about it, though, like I'll go to the Chinese restaurant that has the bigger chicken legs,
Mm.
and I know it's because they're buying steroid pumped chicken, but but I like the bigger wings and so
My God. No, Harry. See, that's just terrible. I can't eat it anymore. I can't do it. And I haven't eaten meat since January, so uh
probably now you're making the chickens feel left out.
no, I just left out. You think that they want to jump on somebody's plate?
Yeah.
They do not. They want to live productive lives just like we do.
What?
Harry, they want to be able to live their life out in peace and harmony.
Babz, and the world is flat.
Harry, we don't want chicken lives matter. All animal lives matter. We don't eat horses.
We used to.
We don't.
Have
We
you?
don't eat. We don't eat hippopotamus. We don't eat elephant.
No, but those are different.
We don't eat giraffe. They're only different because we say it's different, Harry. We don't eat moose. Well, people do eat moose. We
Yeah,
eat deer.
moose burgers that in Maine.
Yeah, people eat deer, they eat moose. We don't eat bear.
Yeah, but we will if we have to.
I'm just saying, Harry, we pick and choose the stuff we want to eat.
It's all relative to your hunger.
We don't eat dogs and cats.
Not here, not in this country.
Well, not in this country, but can you eat a dog or cat? No. We would be repulsed.
It's all relative to.
Yeah, but if you went to your favorite restaurant and they started serving Fido on the menu, you couldn't do it. See, look at you. You wincing now.
That's true because I even have a problem eating like duck. And they just look different. They just look like they shouldn't be eaten.
But chickens do?
Yeah,
You're discriminating, Harry. You're racial profiling duck.
racially profiling. Well, but but ducks and geese and stuff, They just look so.
What about turkey?
No, turkey is a necessary eat.
Hmm.
You know, that's just if you don't eat turkey, that's almost bad. That's a bad thing. At least that's what I've convinced myself. Turkey is
Yes,
good.
I think you have.
Turkey good. Chicken good. How good?
Quail, but you don't eat pigeons. There's a lot of pigeons, Harry,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't eat those flying rats.
I would. Well, it's all relative. Wait till the apocalypse. During the apocalypse, I'm gonna be eating the limb rats, the squirrels.
Although, have you had seaweed?
Seaweed. Well,
Seaweed, like seaweed chips. I had seaweed chips. Pretty good.
I've had seaweed by mistake, and at the beach.
Oh, like when it's done up, Harry.
No, I I just don't get seaweed.
You eat fish.
No, fish is delicious, right?
You don't, but you don't eat shark. Or you
Oh no,
can't eat.
shark is. Have you ever had a shark steak? I have.
No.
Oh, it's delicious.
I thought it was against the law to eat shark.
No, shark steak is delicious.
No, I've had
It's literally like a steak of fish. I mean, it's just so delicious.
tuna. I ate tuna. Uh, sea bass, Chilean sea bass.
Yeah. Sea bass is delicious too.
Catfish, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Porgies, whitings.
Swordfish.
So yes, I used to eat a lot of sword. I don't eat it that much anymore, Harry, because it's got high mercury content.
All of that is delicious. I mean, how can you not? I mean,
but you don't eat dolphins, although they get caught up in the tuna nets.
Well, yeah, I probably do eat dolphins when I eat canned tuna. You never know, because like you said, they get.
Harry, the PETA people are gonna write us. You know that, right?
I know, right? They're gonna say, "Oh, LoveBabz, LoveTalk. They eat dolphins. They're willing to eat dogs and cats."
No,
under the right conditions. Under the right conditions.
I'm not eating animals. Not me. Not eating animals. No.
It's all relative, Babz.
It is. We will continue this conversation after we have guests at 9:30. Harry, guess who we have, Harry? If you picked up your latest edition of the Inner City, the Mills family reunion. This is their annual reunion. They're coming. Sean Hardy and Anthony Davis. I think that's his name. Anthony Dawson, are coming to be our guest this morning to talk about the Mills family tradition. Harry, they've been doing this reunion since 1973.
And now it's a family reunion, and
yes, they do it here in Connecticut. Well, they started doing it. The Connecticut chapter started in 1985, and so they've just been doing it. And so they get new cousins every year. The family tree expands. So they've been doing their research and finding out who's in the family. And
is it religious based?
I don't think so, Harry. I just think it's like, people just coming together as family. So I see somebody. Hey, Jonathan Berryman.
Hello there. How are you?
We're just talking about folks. I didn't know this was your family too, Jonathan.
Well, I've been adopted into the Mills family.
Harry and I was just talking about the family, if it was religious based. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know too many black people who don't got some kind of religious foundation, Harry.
Oh, they have phenomenal religious base, including the founding of an Episcopal church back in the early 1900s.
Oh, so they go. Oh, so this is even. I'm looking at my inner city news.
Yes, so they trace their roots all the way back to the 1860s, at least.
Yes, You know, the Rawls trace their roots back to that a little further than that, back to before the gosh, I can't think now. But anyway, yes, my family has done that same thing, traced their roots all the way back.
Well, they have historians in the family itself. I think so my perspective on this is it has opened my eyes to the sociological factors associated with the Great Northern Migration.
Yes.
So my affiliation with the family has helped me to see how interconnected New Haven is, even as a teacher. I've had students who were related to each other and didn't even know it, but I knew they
were. Oh, so I see there's Mark Harrington. Hey, Mark Harrington. Mark Harrington is muted. Now, I have some Harringtons in my family.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Harrington. Are you Mr. Harrington?
I am.
Is it Mark?
Yes, I go by Mark.
Okay. So I have some Harringtons in my family too, which go back.
I actually don't. It's just my great grandmother married a Harrington. It's a long story, but I'm only related to my grandmother and aunts and uncles on that side that are Harringtons. It's really not it's not a genuine family name for me.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Miss Teal, how are you? You got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. Oh,
you unmute. You were.
Now I'm unmuted.
Good morning. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
How are you? Welcome to the LoveBabz LoveTalk family. So I was picking up my inner city news, right? Because y'all are on the cover. And this is the article that came from the New Haven Independent, done by Maya McFadden, who is a wonderful writer. And Sean had called me, I don't know, like last year, and started sending me pictures about this, and talking about pulling this together. So I'm so glad that it made its way through the New Haven Independent, and Maya got to do it. Very talented writer, new to the New Haven Independent. So when I saw it, I couldn't help but want to pull it, of course, because we have that simpatico relationship with the New Haven Independent. So as I was telling Sean, where is Sean, by the way?
Yeah, where is he?
I spoke to him late last night, like 11 o'clock, 11:30 last night. And I said to him, we need the good news, and family reunions are good news. This is a good news story to see families come together, because there's so much violence and pain right now in the world, in our city and in our country, that it's nice to sort of see a story that is uplifting and powerful, and uniquely our New Haven story. You know. So Jonathan, how did you get adopted into this family? Because I'm about to get adopted too. So how did you get I'm sure I'm in the cookout too. I'm adopted.
Sean Hardy is my BFF.
Oh, okay.
And we have been for approaching 20 years now. So he invited me to go to his family reunion, and I agreed. And it sounded like a wonderful event. This is the mega reunion that they have every other year in Greenville, North Carolina, which is the homestead, Haddock's Crossroads. And I went, and it was just amazing. It was the sheer, my family has reunions too, but I had not seen one of this magnitude with hundreds of people. And buses, Connecticut itself takes 2 buses.
So I take it they've got T-shirts and everything.
T-shirts and everything. So I got adopted through Sean Hardy, and as I was thinking about it this morning, I thought about Black Lives Matter, right? And I thought about that fact, when you are well rooted in your family
Hold on one second, Jonathan. Somebody has music in their background or something. So if you have your radio on, you're gonna have to turn your radio off, so that because you'll hear the reverb. Jonathan is a musician; he can tell you this. So you can't listen to yourself and talk at the same time. But you can always go back and listen to this later because it becomes a podcast. Okay, go on, Jonathan.
So the Mills family, the heritage, the traditions, the pictures that they have, it really does make this idea, the whole concept of how Black lives really matter come to life.
Okay.
When you can see generations of people and branches of families, and not only you see the pictures, you see the homesteads, you see the branches of the tree, you see the new growth in the children. It's amazing to witness the Mills family come together.
Okay. So Carol, what's your relationship to this family?
Yeah, my grandmother, Mahalia Mills, she's from the root.
That's a name you don't hear anymore. Mahalia.
Yeah, Mahalia Mills. She married a Hardy, and of course, now the last name is Hardy, but she was one of the siblings of the beginning of the crew. I said she was my grandmother, right? But no, she was my great grandmother.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I said, she married a Hardy, and one of her sons, which was Joseph Hardy, was my grandfather. He married Emma, Forbes, Emma Hardy. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, so
you're muted. You have to unmute.
Did I unmute?
Now there you go.
All right.
So that's how I'm part of the family, and like John was saying, it's huge. I'm sure there are some families may be bigger, but it's just so big to sometimes I say, you are not related to me. I don't want to. Yeah, and people were still having kids, and it's gonna be here forever. And yeah, Babz, we might be related to you.
I listen. I'm claiming it.
All right.
I'm not gonna be the only one in New Haven not related. I'm coming to the cookout.
I know, right, and we all can cook. I don't know about Sean.
I don't cook.
We do drinks.
I cook, but I don't want to cook. I just want to sit and eat. So
yes.
So I'm so glad you joined us, Sean, because I was telling them that we spoke late last night, but our conversation started last year, or at
it
least
really did.
A year and a half ago. So if you've never had the pleasure of talking to Sean on the phone, it is a party, right? Like, so his personality just comes through the phone. So he calls me up, and it's like I feel like I was just like sucked into Mardi Gras. And he was like, I'm doing this thing. So he started sending me pictures. So I started keeping a folder of all these little things that he was sending me. And he was like, we're pulling it together. The next thing I know, the lovely Maya McFadden did the piece for the New Haven Independent. And then, so Paul Bass calls me and he goes, Sean wants to know if you could run this in the inner city. So I said, why can't Sean call me? Like, he calls me for everything else, and he's not going to call me for this. I was already going to pull it anyway, Sean, because it's such a beautiful piece.
Well, thank you so very much.
So I'm so excited. Yeah. And as I talked to you late last night, and I was saying to Jonathan and Carol and Mark, we need some good news. And a family story like this is such good news in these troubling times.
Well, it's not wonderful. Great. Yeah. Who's online this morning?
You've got Jonathan, you got Carol, you've got Mark. I think Deborah Mills. I see her there, but I don't see her. But her she's there.
All right.
So, somebody.
So Sean, tell me your relationship to this family. I mean, I know it, but talk about it.
Okay. Well, it really starts with my my grandmother, my dad's mother's side of the family. She was a Mills, Delphia Mills Hardy, and she was the oldest of 15 children, but 11 lived to be adults, to Kelly and Henrietta Adams Mills, which they call it the Haddocks Crossroad Community of Pitt County, North Carolina. That was my dad's mother. My dad's mother, yes. So everybody lived at the crossroad. I know Haddock Crossroad. Ain't that the name? Ain't that some kind of name? Mm-hmm. Haddock Crossroad. But that's where most of the Mills lineage, or those that's in the Mills tree, that side of the family, because I have so many relatives, but that side of the family migrated from Haddock Crossroad. Some was from Ayden, Ayden. Some was from Winterville. Some was from Browntown. So Craven County. So you kind of name it, and that's where they kind of like spread out. But my grandmother actually lived on the crossroad, and she lived on the crossroad, and her parents and some of her siblings lived across the street from her.
So how did the Connecticut contention come about? And how did y'all, because Jonathan was talking earlier about this is a migration story. This is a way to, I would say, Jonathan, a way that we can track the Great Migration from the South to the North.
Yeah, well, you know.
How did y'all connect here? Like, how did you find each other here?
Well, I think it started with people migrating. We did a migration on Tom Ficklin morning show back in the fall. But I think it started when they left Greenville to come to New Haven, Connecticut, or out west. Some went to Oklahoma, some went to Ohio, some went to Texas, or wherever they went. But I think it was the majority of the ones that came here was looking for a better life.
Okay.
Financially, you know, trying to upgrade. So some came first, and then they were sent for their family. Like my mother and father came here in 1955, and then they sent for my two older brothers who was living at the time. They were the ones that was born in Greenville.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's a very Black thing that, you know, folks would go on ahead and leave children behind and then send for children or family members. I think that's a very uniquely Black thing in our community. So how did y'all connect here? How did you all find each other here in Connecticut and New Haven specific?
Well, I think a lot of people knew each other in North Carolina. Okay. That was one thing. Some families was connected in North Carolina. Some moved to New Haven before others. And I think somebody must have talked to somebody. The next thing you know, you had a lot of people moving to New Haven in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s mostly. Yes.
Okay. And so out of that, you create a New Haven chapter, a Connecticut chapter.
Well, that is amazing. And it started off one phone call. So the late Doris Mills Moy and her sister Mary Mills Green, they're now deceased. They called me up one night. My mother answered the telephone. So they called me up one night, and they was thinking about, they had never attended. They was thinking about going to the Mills family reunion. So then they called me and asked me to help them out by calling other relatives to set up a meeting. And that was like September 85. And now we're almost in September 2020. And so we was only supposed to go 1 year, just one time. And then we wound up going every year after that, sometimes 2 and 3 buses. We went every year from like 86 to like 2002.
Wow.
Yeah. Carol is on our committee, and Diane Frazier, David Moy, Ronnie Moy. We had a few that passed away. Lieutenant Tony Dawson. So Louise Mills Hardy, Amy Mills Smedley. So we have some that are still with us that's on that committee. So that's what really how it got started. And then we changed the reunion to every other year. So then we started going from 2002 every other year to 2018. So this is the first reunion that we missed in over 30 years.
Wow. And you missed it because of the COVID, right?
Of course, that COVID took away my barbecue. Yes.
I know, but y'all, can y'all get together like this on Zoom?
I am proud to say, there are other people online who can testify to that, because I don't want to do all the talking, but we have 5 different Facebook pages before the coronavirus.
Whoa
is right. And then we have a descendant of Roland Mills Yahoo group account. And then we also have prayer Zoom fellowship every 2 weeks since April. And then we have our Zoom genealogy workshop that was organized by my cousin David Mills, who's online.
Yeah.
So how big is this family?
Well, now, honey.
Jonathan, what number are we at now? Because I'm gonna add me to it. What number are we at?
It's in the hundreds.
We're like 500 plus one now.
Well,
Easily.
yeah.
Easily.
All right. So I know the theme this year, or the theme was this year, all in the family because we are one.
We are, yes.
Mhm.
Right, we are
Yes.
one. We are one.
We are one, yes.
We are one.
Hey, hey, Kevin Hardy, how are
Pastor
you?
Kevin Hardy, good morning. Yes.
Hey!
Hello
good
there.
morning.
That's
Wonderful.
And what's your church, Pastor Kevin Hardy? Oh, he's not. He's not. Go ahead. He's coming in. Okay, he's muted. Okay. All right. So, pulling off a family reunion is no easy feat, but you all are spread out across the country. So, talk a little bit about the planning committees. How many committees are there, and how do you all decide on how the family reunion is going to go? What happens at the family reunion?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, the Mills reunion. Hi, Prophet Mark. The Mills reunion actually started. Debbie Mills' family is the one that started the actual Mills family reunion in 1973 with her parents, Charlie and Velma Cox Mills. So her family is the one that got the ball rolling as far as the reunion is concerned. The family always did get together at different functions at somebody's house at the crossroad. A lot of times it was my dad's grandmother's house and my dad's aunt's house. But Debbie can talk a little bit that her family started that reunion. So she might want to kick us off as far as her North Carolina chapter.
Okay. So Deborah, are you with us?
She's muted.
Unmute.
We can't hear you.
Okay, there you go.
Good morning. I am. Sean got me up this morning, so I'm like, okay. Beautiful faces such as this.
Okay, now y'all act like it's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's almost 10 o'clock.
I love it.
No, you are absolutely right. But we are working from home. We're working remotely, so our schedules are a little bit different because we can
absolutely.
Yes, we can sleep in. So I am the daughter of Charlie and Velma Mills, and I'm one of 12. And so we started in 1973, cookout in our backyard, and then inviting everybody because that's what we do. We just invite everybody to the cookout. And it became so big that I think it was in 1975 that we actually then started renting. We actually went to Pitt Technical College. We rented the
wow.
And so we had it on the grounds of the college. And from there, we've been to various venues. But this would actually have been 47 years that we are doing a family reunion.
Oh, wow.
However, we decided, I think, 2000, that it was so much. It was just so much to pull this together that we decided we would go every other year, as well as the fact we also wanted to acknowledge other family lineages that were also having a reunion. So there were various families that were having reunions and doing various things. And so our reunion coined the Mega Mills reunion because it was a conglomerate of every lineage. Although some of the other family reunions, they were just small families and not necessarily including the entire family. And so we decided, as the children of Charlie and Velma Mills, that we would do it every other year. And that would give us an opportunity to refresh, regrow, and visit the other families that were also having reunions. So then we started every other year, and we would go to Connecticut, and we would go to Long Branch, New Jersey, and various other, in Philadelphia, other places that, and so it really has become one big family together, having a family reunion, and all of us supporting each other. And that's why this year's reunion is, we are one. We are one, regardless of where the reunion is held. Now, the Mega Mills reunion, we we have ours always in North Carolina, because that's where the roots are. And it gives family an opportunity to come back to the roots. You know, gives an opportunity to come back, visit their family members, the roots that have not left the Greenville area that are still staying there, to get North Carolina barbecue, to go to Parker's barbecue, to do the things that families do when they come home. So coming home for us is a really big deal, and we're just happy to have hosted it. And we were really sad this year that we were not able to continue the tradition, because it just made sense early on that we plan to do something different. And so in that, God always has a grand even better. And so we've been meeting on Zoom. So we've been having Zoom prayer meetings. As a matter of fact, this weekend will be our third consecutive virtual genealogy seminar. And Sean will be our speaker. He will be our
talk a little bit about the genealogy piece. What does that mean?
Oh, wow.
What does that look like? Is that you looking for more family members, looking at your roots a little deeper, further? Talk a little bit about that.
You have no idea. It's baby Rawls-Ivy.
Babz. It's Babz.
Babz. Our family happens to be so blessed that we have natural genealogists. When I say natural, we have people in our researching for quite some time. Now, you're familiar already with the party. You'll notice that Marquez
is more like him.
My goodness, Babz, you have no idea. We have a genealogy series because there's way too much to do it in one Zoom. And so we started off with Reverend Angela Robinson, who's a genealogist, who did our first session, who talked about where we came from. And when I say where we came from, as far back as history, with Roland line.
If whoever is trying to listen and talk at the same time, you can't. So you have to turn down your other devices, if you have them on, like, your phones or computers or whatever, so that you don't have the reverb, so that we can hear Miss Mills speak beautifully. Go ahead.
So yes, we actually have in our family about 6 seasoned genealogists. We just lost one last year. He has been researching genealogy for 35 years. He and his brother, between the two of them, they have like 70 years of experience of research. And so at this point, we have a series of 6 sessions that will be going on until October-ish. And this particular Saturday, Sean's going to come on with visual genealogy, sharing photos of our ancestors. And on July 4th, Marquez Harrington came on, and Marquez talked about our genealogy and sharing much information that we'd want to hear. And then he's coming back in August, and he's going to be talking about DNA research. And so, so the whole genealogy series is a series of about 5 or 6 sessions, the first Saturday in every month. And all of the researchers are family, which is absolutely pretty amazing.
So talk a little bit about some of the things that you found most interesting about your family history and what that looks like. What was the most astonishing thing that you discovered?
Well, why don't we call on one of the other people, maybe Miss Carol, someone who has been attending our workshop. What's some of the amazing things that you've discovered, Carol?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I discovered that I knew and have been knowing for years people that I did not know I was related to. That was one of the biggest things for me. And then once I found out we were related, we instantly bonded. I don't know if it's something with the blood, but we instantly bonded, and we get together at the reunions, and we always keep contact. And these people are too from all over, not just North Carolina or New Haven. They're from all over, and we keep good contact. And I too like to say that when I was in North Carolina, I lived there until I was 17. My mother was here in Connecticut. And when I came here, she's the one that got me hooked up with Sean and his family, and, you know, telling me about all these people I was related to. As a matter of fact, I went to school with a young lady with some Mills down there, Jacqueline Mills and Walter Mills. And when I came here to Connecticut at 17 is when I found out we were related, because I wasn't aware of that when we were in North Carolina. I don't know if it was just because we were also spaced out or we just didn't have a lot of communication. But all that was very important to me. And now, like I said, anybody that's a Mills, they are my relative, whether they are or not. I say they are my relatives, and I love them, and we all have a close bond with each other.
So I understand somebody's working on a book. Jonathan, you know anything about this book that they're working on? That y'all are working on?
Mark, where are you?
Sean, you unmute, Sean.
Mr. Harrington knows.
I'm here. I told the host that I'm not.
You're multitasking. I know.
Yes, I'm multitasking. So yes, I am working on a book on the history of Roland Mills, and I didn't get a chance to state how I'm connected to the family, but Roland's 10th known child, Anne Eliza Corbett, is my third great grandmother. And so that's how I'm directly descended from Roland Mills, and thus connected to the larger Mills family. And I actually live in North Carolina, so I'm sort of a resident genealogist. But okay. I am working on a book that will make some very enlightening revelations about Roland Mills and his life. He was a free person of color who was born in 1828, and he died in the mid 1860s, or at least he is not present on public records after the mid 1860s.
Wow.
And at any rate, we have some oral history that sort of speaks to why he's missing in action. And I'll just say and let you all put together the pieces of the puzzle. But his last child, Anne Eliza, mother was a white woman, and he was a mixed race person. And so we're all familiar with the very stringent racial laws against miscegenation or mixing of the races or what have you. So you don't have to eat that whole cow to know that you're eating beef. That's one of our North Carolina sayings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the book is kind of revelatory about that, and it also talks about the great strides that Roland Mills's children made after being enslaved and what have you, and you know, issues with their complexion and what have you, and how they overcame and ascended to black middle class after being enslaved.
Mm-hmm. So who's keeping all this information? Who is the keeper of all the facts and the?
Well, as Cousin Deborah said, it's really a team of 5 or 6 of us that work collaboratively to keep this information. Now, the griot of the family, well, we have 2, I would say, and that would be Cousin Sean Hardy and Cousin Maddie DeJesus, because they and Cousin Maddie, she's actually more similar to she's the griot, but she did some Alex Taylor type research back before internet was available. She went to the National Archives like Alex Taylor did. She went to the National Archives in the 1980s and went through the microfilm and all that other kind of stuff and learned how to decipher that ancient chicken scratch or what have you. And then she went and talked to the family elders and got the names of Roland Mills's children and oral history connected to them, and so did Cousin Sean. And so they keep those oral stories alive. So I would I would term them the griots, because they have minds like or memories like an elephant. I think that's the animal that we attribute that to.
What I find fascinating is that as we are in this place of taking the census yet again, right? Because we do it, that for a family like this, it's quite important that the census is taken so that you can continually track ancestors and relatives moving forward. So you all would make a very good case for why the census is important to expand your family tree.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sean, you're still muted. So how do you bring young people, your younger ancestors and relatives into the fold? Are they excited by this information? Do you clue them in? I'm talking those millennials and younger folks, who are new to understanding this large and vast story of this family.
Well, I'll say when you find out you're dating your cousin, you become interested.
Okay, Jonathan, that's creepy, but okay.
well, here in New Haven, the last name might not be Mills, right? The Mills descendants, but the last name might be Hardy. It might be Green. It might be Boy. So there are a lot of Mills family. Connecticut has a chapter, and a lot of them are in New Haven.
But that's an American. But that is, I think, Jonathan, underneath every Black person in this country, that is underneath that we are somehow all blood related at some point when you start going to intersection, right? When you start,
but some of us closer than others. So that's why I said the younger people
This
become
is
interested.
Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Sorry, we have to do a station identification at the 10 o'clock hour.
Understood. But I'm fine. So as a teacher, as I was saying before we aired, that I've had students who are descendants of the Mills family, and they didn't know they were related. I knew they were related, but they didn't, because they have different last names than Mills. They may, or they might, some might associate with the Connecticut chapter, some might not. But for younger generations, it's critical that they know where they come from, because in a city like New Haven, you could very well find a synergy with someone and then discover that that's your third cousin.
Can I piggyback onto that?
Yes.
Well, I actually am a millennial. I'm 31 years old, but I've been researching for the past 20 years, and so I got right on the threshold, and I was able to meet great aunts and uncles of mine, and so a lot of their pictures and a lot of their oral history and what have you, I got a chance to get it because I got into it so young, and I was able to meet some of those people who were links to the past. What it did for me, even sitting down at my grandmother's feet on my maternal side, what it did for me was counter. I grew up in a middle class household, but when I was in school, the way I was taught history, and I'm oversimplifying it, of course, is that, you poor people, you were slaves. Not you were people who were enslaved, but you were slaves. And we came and got you. We being members of the white race, we came and got you, brought you here. Then we finally freed you. Then you were sharecroppers, and now you're on welfare. But getting family history for me as a young person has been empowering, and it has let me know that that's not the total story of my family. We had people in the 1860s and 70s and 80s educating themselves and owning land and starting businesses and starting schools and churches. And that for me is empowering. It lets me know as a younger person, even though I teach young people, it's kind of, I mean, I know I'm still young because I'm 31, but because I teach high schoolers, I think of them as young people or what have you. But it's empowering to know that, the narrative that is normally pushed about Black people, not discounting statistics and, the economic disparities and things of that nature, but the narrative that's always pushed about us is not always true. And it's so empowering to me. So that's just my 10 cents on how to get millennials involved.
Mm-hmm. So, Sean?
He's muted.
You muted. Unmute.
Can't hear you.
All right, I'm back.
So what is the overall goal for the family? Where do you see this going? Or do you see it going anywhere? Do you think about, what do you all want as a family? Or is it just we just keep coming together and growing the numbers?
Well, I'm hoping that we continue to grow in numbers, in relationship, in bondship. Jonathan was saying how the younger folks right here in Connecticut, before you even get to Greenville, I have some situations where I was in a situation, and I'm telling this live. I was in a situation with some young cousins, and they were downtown in the New Haven area. And one of them saw me and hugged me. And the other one said, "Hello, I know you too." And I said, "I know both of you, but I want to know, how well do you know each other? Because you're smiling mighty hard." And they said to me, "We're friends." I said, "No, she's your cousin." They said, "No." I said, "Yeah, I just spoke with each of your parents before I ran into you." Then I said to the girl, "Do you know who his parent is?" She said, "No." And I told her, and she almost fell out. And so I told him the same thing about her, and he almost fell out. So my thing is getting people knowing who they are, knowing how they're related, and taking it to the next generation, taking it to the next milestone, getting more involved with the family. Now, everybody may not have my personality about family ties. Some people are interested. Some people, think it's boring. My example of that is my niece. My niece Sherelle was interested, then she wasn't interested until her 12th year of high school at Wilbercross High School. She had to do a family project, how she was connected, the history of her family in a history class, and that was part of their final exam. And everybody in her class knew their family, knew their heritage, so they can bring in photos. So she came home and she said, "My non-interesting self is about to be embarrassed. I need you to help me with this family tree." And from that day forward, she has not missed a family gathering. She has not missed a family reunion. She loves family information, and she passes it down to her children just because of that high school student high school teacher at Wilbercross High School gave that assignment.
So how many chapters across the country, or how many chapters between here and North Carolina?
Well, I know Debbie and them have the North Carolina. Hi, Debbie. I know Debbie and them have the North Carolina chapter, and we have the Connecticut chapter. Jersey one time had the New Jersey chapter with the Cox Mills line, but I don't know what happened to that. They're still meeting and doing their thing. So Connecticut chapter is probably, and North Carolina chapter is probably the oldest chapters around. I know they are. North Carolina being first, and then Connecticut chapter joining up in 1985.
And then you also have the Hardy Mills chapter.
Right. Now you have, right. The Hardy Mills is my immediate line that extends it to all relatives. So their reunion is actually next year, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, downtown Philadelphia. So that is my branch, but they include all relatives. It's Hardy Mills because my grandfather was a Hardy. My grandmother was a Mills. So now they call it Hardy Mills. So they invite everybody on both sides of the family.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Same as New Jersey with the Coxes. Theirs was Cox Mills. So they invited everybody on both sides of the family. And Connecticut used to host buses to New Jersey, Labor Day weekend. We did it for about 10 years in a row to their reunion.
So, Deborah, where are y'all holding your reunion? Like, are you still at the college, or have you grown beyond those walls?
Oh yeah, we bougie.com now. We bougie, lugie, fuji, doogie.com. All right now, Mills. We way up there. I mean, I got to save my money 2 years in advance. How you like that one, man?
When y'all gonna take it to the continent? When y'all going to Africa or to the Caribbean? I'm waiting for that.
Well, Lord help me, because I don't fly. I'm like Aretha Franklin. I don't fly, honey. I'm gonna have to learn how to fly. I don't get in no plane.
To answer your question, we really started out on our backyard. I am the 11th child of farmers, so we had a farm. And so when I said they came to our house in our backyard, it was on our farm. Okay. And we cooked the pig and cabbage and made the slaw and cut up potatoes and made the potato salad.
Yes, Lord.
It was a lot. And so, matter of fact, I sent a photo out last week of back in the day when we were at W.H. Robinson High School.
Mm-hmm.
We moved from the school grounds to using some of the small schools that were available, because they had cafeterias. And so we were able then to bring our food in and still serve our food. And so, but now we're hosting at the Hilton. Yeah.
Okay.
And it works out because it's a venue for everybody, even the host family, that we would drag ourselves up that morning. I remember our mom would get us out of bed and say, okay, the day is here. Come on, get up. And we would like be so exhausted because we've been working all week.
Right. To clean and to get ready. And then you got to start cooking.
Now we got to start serving people. Yeah. So what we did is we changed the game so that it made it efficient for everybody to be able to enjoy each other.
Yeah.
So yes, we are at the Hilton, and we do that every 2 years. And you talk about the millennials and the younger people. They are able to join into the game and be excited. And we have pool parties for them and various things for them to meet, so that they can find out who their relatives are. And you had asked before, what is the end game? And I'll tell you that the mission of our reunion is to create an environment that will support, attract, and develop family for generations to come. So even when we are gone, what we hope is that we will do things in such a way that it will attract the youth to want to be a part of what is happening and what we're doing. And unless the young people are involved, the mission that we have will die at some point. So for our particular team, for the Mega Mills team, we're constantly trying to get the youth to be part of the team, to get involved and to do things. And quite frankly, sometimes that's not quite so easy, but not everyone will. But for those who do, it makes it possible for us to continue. We know that even in the church environment, it is 20% of the people that do the work and 80% of the people that sit on the pew. But even the people who sit on the pews are enjoying the service. Yes. And so we just need to know and make it exciting enough so that enough people will step up and know who they are. And what I would like to say also is it's important. One of the things that our team strives for is not just to say, oh, that's your cousin. Our goal in having our genealogy and for the workshops that we're having is so that people can not only tell you who they are, but they can tell you who they are. And now I'm going to explain who I am in the family. I am Deborah Mills, the 11th of 12 children of Charlie Mills. Charlie is the second of the 4 children of Fred Mills. Fred is the second child of his father, Cannon Mills. Cannon is the second son of the 10 children of Roland Mills.
Wow.
Roland is my great-great-grandfather. And so what we want is for everyone on each one of the lineages to be able to share exactly who they come from, exactly how they got here and to be able to explain to their children. That is the goal of what we do. And if we can we can enable all of our family members to know how we connect, that is a wonderful thing. Because Jonathan, you're absolutely right. I did kind of date a cousin at one point.
My Lord.
I didn't know.
Listen, how could you not? As big as this family is.
Yeah, right.
Well, I didn't know, and so he came to my house. I wasn't allowed to date, but I was allowed to have company. So he came.
Yeah.
That's a very Black thing too.
Yeah.
Have company. Yes.
The first thing my dad said was, "Who's your people?" And as soon as his father was, my daddy was like, "Gotcha. Can't come see my daughter anymore because we are family." And so, so that's the end game, the end goal of having family reunions. And that's one of the reasons we started the genealogy sessions, because it's not enough to come and eat barbecue, fried chicken, coleslaw, go back the way that you came. It's more important that you leave with a legacy and you know it is.
So I land at the family reunion. What happens? I'm geared up. I got my T-shirt. I check into the Hilton. What's on the itinerary?
Well, now we have several hotels. So the Hilton is the main hotel.
I'm staying at the Hilton.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me finish that. Wait a minute. Then we have the new Holiday Inn that used to be called the Beach. So that's where Connecticut, the New Haven block stays. We have a 25-room New Haven block. Then we also have a 50-room. So Connecticut usually kicks off Friday.
Okay.
So you got to come to the new Holiday Inn to get your collards, your fatback meat, your barbecue, and your pineapple coconut cake. Because we usually host on Friday with a swimming pool. That's what we were doing this year. Because we was going to host on Friday and celebrate that our chapter was 35 years old. So we had our own T-shirts that we was going to wear. The Connecticut T-shirts. Then we was going to buy the family reunion, Mega Meals reunion T-shirts.
Okay.
And so then Saturday morning, that was Friday night. And then Saturday morning, we have different workshops, health workshops, then the big genealogy workshop. And then the kids somewhere in there have a pool party. Then we relax. And then we have the big banquet on Saturday evening.
Okay. So this is like a full-on conference.
Oh, yeah. Cousins everywhere. Everybody you come.
Now, do y'all have entertainment? Do you have a band, a DJ? Like, what is happening?
Oh, yeah. They throw down with it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they have a beautiful program, a MC, mistress of ceremony, master of ceremony. We acknowledge the largest immediate family from the different descendants. Somebody goes home with a trophy. We acknowledge, Debbie and them acknowledge the oldest relative present.
I'll probably be it this year. I mean, next year. 2 years. I'll probably be the oldest one next year.
You too young still. Still, I think you're a little too young. I think there's some
no.
And and what's so good about it, we still have relatives in their 70s, we have relatives in their 80s, and we have relatives in their 90s.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we do. Yes.
We never out sharing God's word with each other as well. So while we complete the banquet, and this year we were having an after party after the banquet with a DJ, and we also honor our entrepreneurs. So we also we have entrepreneurs in the family who sell jewelry, who sell clothing, Mary Kay representative. So that goes on all day on Saturday as well. That's been absolutely phenomenal because we want to make sure that we support the entrepreneurs in the family, and they walked away very, very pleased. And so on Sunday, we always have a workshop before we end. And so, matter of fact, Kevin Hardy spoke. Sunday, he's on here. So we always share the word of God before we leave. And
so is it a church service? or
no, it's a
because you know how black people can do on a Sunday.
service. Sometimes we've had it in the Hilton where we have one of their aside for one of their banquet rooms that they set up, just church style. Last year we had it at the Mount Zion, not last, 2 years ago. We had it at an actual church, the home church of my father, that like many years ago by Cannon Mills. And so we visited various churches. We not only do we have many genealogists in the family, we have many ministers in our family as well.
Oh, I have no doubt. Our producer and station manager Harry Droz said he thinks he's related too. That's the Puerto Rican contingency.
Yeah, he looks just like him. Yeah, he fit right in. Yeah.
He said that food sounds good. Like, oh, I think I'm a relative.
And when Debbie was talking about her grandfather started the Primitive Baptist Church, the Millses have so many different religious backgrounds. I mean, we believe in God. We just have some great religious backgrounds. So we have Free Will Baptists, we have Primitive Baptists, and my grandparents, they did something very unusual. They started an Episcopal church at the Crossroad in the early 20s that lasted about 55 years. And a lot of people went there for Sunday school. It was known for morning worship, but a lot of people got confirmed and baptized, and they went there for Sunday school. My dad was one of them. So you had a lot of the Mills descendants where they didn't go to the Primitive Baptist or to the Free Will Church. They went to the St. Stephen's Episcopal Church.
I like that. As I mentioned that our Reverend Kevin Hardy is a minister. Also, our very own Pastor Marquez Harrington is also a minister.
Bless his heart.
So he's a young man. He's a minister and a school teacher.
Oh, yes. He got a lot of, my. And Kevin Hardy said he's multitasking. He said, hello, Kevin Hardy is the pastor of St. Matthew's Free Will Baptist Church, 400 Dixwell Avenue. And he's the grandson of Simon and Pauline Dixon Mills. So he sent me a message and he's on, but he's multitasking. He'd love all.
Yes, I see Kevin. Kevin is on and he's unmuted. So Kevin, do you want to say anything about your history and story?
Just glad to be here. I want to thank Cousin Sean for letting me know. But
bless your heart, bitch.
Just to address the question of the young people, I can remember being, I won't say dragged, but I'll say being brought on the buses to await the trip to North Carolina as a teenager. And I'm so glad that that my mom did that, because it is the Mills name that has so much pride with it, because they really stand for family, and that's been something that's been eternal. But as things change, my own 17-year-old daughter looks forward to going on the bus, gives me the narrative of who she's going to sit with, what she's going to do when she gets to North Carolina, what she's going to eat, who she's going to see, and she beats me to the to discussing the genealogy. She wants to know. So I think some things we appreciate in later years, and some things are taught, some things are caught. But I'm just glad that though the vehicles are different, she still has a chance to have pride in the Mills name. And so that really is something that that I appreciate, being a part of this family and what the name Mills stands for. And that's longevity and love and family. So I'm just glad to be here. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So,
thank you so much.
I want each of you to talk about, to tell me, what has this whole experience over these years meant to you?
Well, I'll start it off if I have to. I don't.
Yes, Mardi Gras, Sean.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm just going to say this very briefly. I have more appreciation for it now than I did when I was a child. You know, I used to say I'm kind of bored sitting out here on my grandmother's porch, you know, the flies and the gnats and, you know, on her swing. But I thought it was fascinating that everybody at the crossroad was related. I just thought that was so. I said every house I went to, there was my cousin or my father's aunt or my aunt, and every house you went to, you ate. So that knowing who I was related to is just fascinating to me, and the history, of the family and how important it is, and how we stick together through any time, ups, downs, good times, bad times. We come together and we get it done. If it's a birthday gathering, whatever's going on, if we can't be there physically, we support some way, form, or fashion. So I'm grateful. My other side is like that too, but I'm grateful for this side of the family because we a lot of us have a bond and connection that a lot of people just do not have, and it's very significant to me. And I was glad that I had the opportunity of meeting older relatives, some of my aunts and uncles, my great aunts and great uncles. They were still living. I would go visit with them when they were sick at the nursing home. So I learned a lot through them, visiting the older relatives, learning from relatives that are still living. It doesn't matter what age bracket, you're always able to learn. Life is a learning process. And so I'm just grateful that I'm a part of Connecticut. I'm a part of this great Mills family, and the love that they and support that they have shown and still continue to show down through the years.
Anybody else?
I just like to say quickly that kind of like Sean, I feel that anywhere I go, whether it's Connecticut and sometimes out of state, I run into relatives, and it makes me feel so good that I say, like, if I'm never alone because of God, but sometimes if you get lonely, you think you don't know people, but when you start talking to them, you find out it's a relative. I'm fine. So, like I say, wherever I go, I have a relative, I have a friend, and we are bonded. I love that.
I know for me, it's the power of connection. That looking at being adopted into the Mills family, particularly here in New Haven, has meant a lot. One, I've met a lot of people. My family has its own history, but moving here from Virginia to Connecticut was in some ways culture shock. New Haven is not an easy place to get to know, and it's what has made New Haven livable is the connections. So knowing the Mills family for me personally has been a vital part to my well-being here in New Haven. And then knowing the Mills family beyond New Haven has just been a vital part of my socialization. The Mills family, lovely people. Debbie Mills, the people I've met have just been phenomenal. And to speak to what Mark said about this idea of intergenerational wealth and providing a counter narrative to this idea that Black folk have always been poor. When you look at the Mills family history, it gives you concrete evidence that this idea of Black people never having anything and not going to have anything is just a lie. I think it's important for people to really be able to see intergenerational wealth, not just financially, but also with the social capital that family brings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ms. Mills? Deborah? Unmute yourself.
I was just sitting here feeling very melancholy about listening to Jonathan, because Jonathan, it has been adopted by our family. He is family. And when he came to Atlanta, I think you felt that you were a family. When you came to Atlanta, we were able to get together and break. That was like, if there's any way while he's here that we can meet, let's do it. And so, we've been able to do that because I feel like he's family. However, the history of our people. And, I feel like the history of our people, the way that we came to this country, while we were enslaved people, we were not able to enjoy each other as family the way that we are now. Families were apart. They were sold. They were sold and stolen, and just our history. And so, quite frankly, sometimes we are more related to people than we think we are, just because we have the last name. Mm-hmm. And that is something that was stolen from us very, very early in the game. And so as Marquez would say, not as slaves, but enslaved people, because we were not slaves. We were never slaves. They didn't go get slaves. They brought free people here and enslaved them. And so what this all means is a legacy, especially considering the way that my parents started it. And so not only is it a legacy, it is also a responsibility. It's a responsibility, because that's the way our parents taught us, is that we're going to make this happen, and we've got to have the reunion this year because people are counting on it, because people want to get together. And so and that was one of the reasons why we decided to go every 2 years. It is a responsibility. It's a lot of work just as a team putting it together. It just is a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. So, but it means legacy to me, to be able to share the photos. You have Babz, you have an idea of the photos that we have that's generated through years. Yes, you do. Yes.
I got a little idea.
I would invite you to join us on Saturday. Sean will give you the information if you're available to join in on our Zoom on Saturday, where we're going to really be doing a photo essay history of a lot of our descendants and sharing it with a lot of our family who are not aware of who they are. And what does it mean? I'll tell you this, which is very interesting. We recently had 4 siblings to join us through our Zoom time that have only known each other for the last couple of years because of a DNA. And that's an entire another story, Babz. That's a story you might want to have them on to talk about. But they all realized that they were related through DNA, through their dad. And they are in their late 50s and early 60s. They're just know each other as siblings. That's 4 people. And so we are family, and now they're able to enjoy each other as siblings in ways that they never even imagined. And so we are, again,
pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's what our theme is. We are one. We are more alike than we know, and not quite as different as we thought.
Well, it has been my absolute pleasure having you all on this morning. I hope you all come back before the next family reunion to talk about have you come back as often as you like to come and talk about how other people can do this with their own families. I'm sure you all have a roadmap now. So if someone had questions about, I like to start looking up my family history, how do I do that? How do I connect, and how do I pull off a family reunion, and how do I, find my people and that kind of thing? I think you all have a roadmap. You've been doing it for so long, and you've become the vanguards of this. So it has been my pleasure to talk to y'all this morning. Really.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad that Sean tracked me down last year.
No, we can't.
Sean, you are still muted.
I'm mute. Can't hear you, Sean.
On the mute.
I'm glad that you included us. Thank you for reaching out to me about this. We're grateful for the Connecticut chapter, Mills Committee, the entire Mills legacy, the Charlie Mills family, everybody online. Mark, I'm excited about the book that's coming out. I better give a shout out to my mother if she's listening to this, because she will beat me down and I'll never hear the end of it. Much love to Mama Hardy in Charlotte, North Carolina. But Jonathan Behrman, I want to let you know I appreciate you, because he is my best friend, him and Nathan. And I will say that he is a part of this Mills family. He's very supportive, and I thank you for taking time out your busy schedule. And Ivy, Rawls-Ivy, you better come to Tony Dawson Pig Picking.
I'm coming.
Lieutenant Tony Dawson Pig Picking, honey. It's Sunday,
I'm coming.
August 9th in the Hill on Main Street.
I'm coming.
Gabby Mills, you better fly in.
And anytime I get to talk to Jonathan Berryman, I feel like that is a real treat. So thank you, Jonathan.
Yes. So Pig Picking is at Tony Dawson House on the 9th. All
right. Well, I know you'll take lots of pictures and let me know.
Yes, I sure will. Thank you. Now, is this aired? Is this is live today?
Yes, this is very live. You are very live.
My. Hello.
Live and in living color. And then it becomes a podcast and people can share it and and
I love
go
it.
back and listen.
Thank you.
So the
God be the
North
glory.
Carolina Deborah Mills, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Carol Till, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pastor Kevin Hardy, thank you. Pastor Teacher Mark Harrington, and the lovely and talented Jonathan Berryman.
Yes.
We're gonna let y'all jump out.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. And
thank you so much.
Who is so energetic and a
Thank
party
you.
in his own right. I hope I see y'all around again. And
you will, I promise you.
All right.
Please come back. And when the book comes back, I want you all to come back and talk about it.
Amen to that one. Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
All right.
Okay. God bless us all.
God bless.
God bless you all. One love. Yes.
Yes, one love.
Thank you. One love. One love.
Have a good one.
You
Thank
too.
you.
All right. All right.
Every time you come around, I feel my world starts turning topsy-turvy, and I just can't fight the spin. Baby, won't you listen to this love whose heart's been missing, and don't hurt me, 'cause I'm falling your way again. Am I weak? Well, sometimes I just can't hardly speak, that I have to pinch myself to be sure that this love is more than I can endure. Sweet thing, you got me singing. Ooh la la la, it's the way that you feel when you know it's real. Ooh la la la, it's the one that's inside when you're satisfied. Ooh la la la, it's a dream that lasts forever. Ooh la la la, let's stay together. Oh, I can see it there, that look upon your face is saying love's in begging. For I know what's on your mind. Love is for the lasting, and it's yours just for the asking, for the taking. tell the one you love just how much they mean to you. Because you see, sometimes the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many. And if you understand what I'm talking about, let me hear you say yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me hear you say yeah. Oh, I'm giving it up.
I don't mind. Why don't you do what you do when you did what you did to me? Oh, love was so good it filled up all my needs. I was crazy for you. You were crazy for me. How could something so right go so wrong? My love, sweet love. Why don't you say what you say when you say what you say anymore? Your eyes can lie so long goodbye. Close the door. I was crazy for you. You were crazy for me. And how could something so right go so wrong? My love, sweet love. Tell me something that I didn't do. Why does someone else have to pull you through? Did they steal you away like a thief in the night? Love like this must take flight. Why don't they play what they played on the night you danced with me? Ooh, remember the one we made love to endlessly. I was crazy for you. You were crazy for me. And how could something so right go so wrong? My love, sweet love. She makes Why don't you do what you do when you did what you did to me? Oh, do what you do when you did what you did to me. Oh, do what you do when you did what you did to me.
All right, I think we're going to the family reunion. I can't hear you, Harry. Why can't I hear you? Okay.
I said they had my mouth watering with
I
that.
know. I know. I was like, and I don't even eat meat, Harry, but I was like, all right, some barbecue. Maybe I can get them to barbecue me some mushrooms or something.
I don't know, but you know that's it's an interesting thing, right? To actually, if you do your genealogy, and it's scary almost, right? You had two
Yeah.
related who didn't know they were related, dating, and it's a very real possibility that that is happening because
Harry, black people in this country have to have that underneath all of us.
yeah, I mean,
That we are genetically related to each and every one of us. It's, like that's more true than not.
yeah,
That we are all kind of related at some, if we dig deep enough and go back far enough.
yes, it's crazy, and I would bet that that scares people off from doing it.
Yeah, I bet you it would too.
Yeah, because I mean, to find out some truths that you may not want to find out years in, so
Oh boy, oh boy.
scary.
Well, the good thing is that, it only becomes a problem with immediate family.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, 50 generations back, it really is just washed out. But, you only really concern yourself with, so,
but that does mess with people. So
yeah.
It messes with a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but, they have such a compelling story, Harry. And they're so big, right? Like, but my brother is married to a woman who has a big family reunion in like Mississippi or Alabama, somewhere like that. And same thing, and it's like three lines of the same family, 3 branches, and it's huge. And they have like T-shirts for different days, that of the family.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by that because I don't tap into my family like that, and my family can trace its roots all the way back to Jefferson, right? So there's that whole Jefferson component to the Rawlses, not my mother's side, my father's side of the family, because they all came from Virginia and that place. So. And so my mother never allowed us, she never made those connections because she just thought it was weird. She just didn't like that whole Jefferson connection thing. So she kept us away from it, deliberately kept us away from it.
I mean,
which I'm glad she did.
For me, that would be just too many people, knowing too many people. Because I got family that I could reach out to. I mean, probably half of Puerto Rico, right? And I go there and I sneak in and I sneak out. It's like, oh no, I don't want to know nobody. My mother calls. Oh, you're in Puerto Rico. I want you to visit this. I hope you didn't tell these people I'm coming over.
But then when you go, Harry, you're kind of glad that you went.
I'm always looking for the escape hatch.
I mean, I don't know if I would go every year, but I would go, every 4 or 5 years, like I would go. I can't do anything like that every year. Like I don't like, people go to homecomings from their schools every year. Like I couldn't do that. Like that would just get on my nerves. But I would go once every 10 years, right? Like that'd be about the most I could stand. And I had such a good time in college. I loved it, right? And I went to so many other people's homecomings too. But I just can't imagine going to that every year. Like I was like, all right, I've done this.
Yeah, well, and for me, it's just that I close myself off from so much that I go, they feed you like a king.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure of it. There's other places in the world I want to go.
Well, the thing is that I like going to Puerto Rico, but I don't want to go from house to house. I don't want to spend my time doing that.
Well, yeah, and you know what? That's real in any culture, Harry. When you go visit family, you sometimes you just want to slip in and just maybe see one or two people, but that's kind of hard too. Because I have a girlfriend who lives in Seattle, and when she comes back east, she tries to slip in because she'd have to see everybody from Maine to Virginia, and it just becomes too difficult. And people's feelings get hurt because you're like, well, you went there, but you didn't come here, and
right, and then it's insulting to go in and leave in 15 minutes.
Yes.
So it's hard, and then once it becomes dark, I have family in the mountains.
You're like, no.
Right, so once it becomes dark, they're like, oh, you gotta stay. There's no light.
Yeah, no light. You don't want to go off the hill, off the mountain.
And I'm like, oh no, I'll make it. I'll make it.
Harry, you can get up and leave at first light, Harry. Come on now.
No, last time I went, I drove into a hurricane in the middle of the night on a dark mountain. I had no idea where I was going, Babz, but I made it down that mountain. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know what I was thinking staying till dark, but it's because they wouldn't let you go.
Right.
And you didn't want to be insulting. So it's like, and then once it becomes dark, I'm not staying. I'm going back to my hotel where there's air conditioning, all the luxuries. Because it's real, it's beautiful. The island is beautiful.
It is. It's very beautiful. But I understand you. Yes.
But family members are living in shacks and stuff like that. And it's like, oh no, this is just not my vacation. This is not what I came to the island to do. Suffer a night.
One night, Harry, won't kill you.
No, suffer a night. For me, it'll kill me. That's why I took my chances in a hurricane down
the mountain. I know your wife was mad with you. She was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, well, she was in the car with me.
She's like, "All right, if you die, I'm gonna die. We're gonna ride or die. How about it?" No,
we made it. I never saw rain like that either. It was just insane the way
that tropical downpour, man. No,
yeah, it's just insane.
I don't know, Harry. I would have just slept through the night and just got up early in the morning at daybreak and just because I would have been too afraid. I would have been like, I'm going to die. I don't want to die. But you didn't die, so you made it.
But you know what? For me, there was a bigger fear. Staying with people I really didn't know and showing them my discomfort.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't hide when when I'm feeling horrible. I can't hide it.
Yeah.
So I figured, why put them through that? Why put myself through that? I'm going to drive down the mountain. And then as I'm getting ready to leave, one of my aunts, because it was like the whole mountain was my family. One of the aunts from the other side told me, stop, that we're putting together a bag for you. And I'm like, a bag? And it was people getting all the fruits and stuff from the tree.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's dark. You said I couldn't drive down this mountain. Just let me go. But yeah, so they put together this huge bag. And I was like, wow. She said, this is fresh from the trees right now. I was like, oh my God.
Nice.
I mean,
that was nice.
Yeah, the hospitality is incredible.
Of course.
And when they've never seen you or they haven't seen you in 20 years.
20 years since you were little.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh my God, I remember when your father when you were first born, how happy your father was. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you know, that's good that they remember something good from my father. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible. But you know, family's too much for me.
Like, yeah, it's nice. Too much.
But I'm like, make me a plate.
I'll send my plate. Go get my plate. No, but that's nice. I've known about the Mills family reunion for a long time. It's like a New Haven legend now, right? Like, it is really, you know, I mean, they block off the street the whole nine. I mean, it becomes a huge thing. And I didn't know it had its roots in North Carolina, which is quite interesting. And now they like book hotels and sell out hotels, and that's pretty interesting. That's pretty fabulous, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, Karen would love that stuff. She would drag me everywhere if a family ever did something like that.
Yeah, I would go once every 10 years. Beyond that, though, like, I wouldn't be there every year. That would be too much for me. You know, I'm not like you, Harry, but I'm very close to you in that regard. Like, that's too much. It would be too much, you know?
Yeah, you meet family and you're like, ooh, I don't think I could take.
Yeah, I couldn't take a lot of it I couldn't do it every year. And I certainly couldn't do it all weekend.
Well, you know, it's sad when you have family reunions. It's usually a funeral or something.
Well, yeah,
you know,
yeah, and it's kind of cool that you get to be with people on a joyous occasion rather than, you know, being summoned for the service for a funeral. You know, and yeah, because I think that's probably the last time I gathered with my family was a funeral. My Aunt Betty's funeral, when we were all together. Yeah. Weddings and funerals. And since nobody's getting married, because we're all married, well, we're not all married, but yeah. I don't know if anybody's getting married. So everybody's all grown up, and so a wedding would do it. A wedding and a funeral would bring us together.
Yeah.
I decided to get married.
Either.
You don't go to weddings, Harry?
No.
I love a good wedding, Harry. You know, you going to Tom Breen and Lucy's wedding. I'm marrying them.
Are they getting married?
Yeah, I'm officiating.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were gonna do it. They were gonna do it this year, but I think they have postponed it because of the virus, because they want to gather with their family. You know, their families. So I love weddings. That's my favorite thing. I watch the wedding shows. I love the weddings.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, weddings are too much for me too.
Really?
I'm like,
I love a big party, Harry. Like, I'll go to anybody's wedding all the time. Like, I'll go to weddings all the time because I love a good party.
I mean, I like to see people dance.
Don't you dance?
No, my back and my knees go two different ways now.
Harry, you can't get out there and salsa two-step?
Well, yeah, I could do that, but the rhythm is not going to get me. Not anymore. You know, Karen, I used to love when you dance. Not anymore.
Oh my God, the rhythm's not going to get you. You are silly.
Everything hurts too much.
Well, you know, you take some meds, get your CBD oil up. Good.
It has to be a Motown track, so it's less than 2 minutes.
That's always a good idea. Motown is quick. So, all right. Well, this was a good show today. I sort of like these 2 hours, Harry, because I can schedule shows in between and, like, you know, not have to jump into the show and then not have to jump out of a show. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it was good today.
Yeah. So I don't know who I'll have the next. I think I have guests coming again, but I have the numbers, so I can use the same ones for the month, right?
Yep, all the way through August.
To August, okay. To the end of August?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then I don't have to trouble you. I can just let you know who the guest is going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's good, because I feel like I'm always, like, depending on you to do that. And I was like, why can't I just do this? Save you some grief. All right, Harry, have a good day and be cool. Thunderstorms, keep in mind, this afternoon.
It's supposed to feel like 100, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
But the thunderstorms are coming too, so that'll break the heat, right? A cold front will come through and it'll be a storm, unless it climbs back up to heat again. But
it'll be a relief.
It'll be a relief. So, well, see you tomorrow, Harry.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Stay with me and you will see my arms will hold you, baby, never leave, 'cause I believe I'm in love, sweet love, help me darling out your love, I feel no shame, I'm in love, sweet
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.